The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Here's the truth, okay? I enjoy my ex-girlfriend who chose a girl who worked at McDonald's over me than I enjoy Frank Seravalli and everything Frank Seravalli. And come on, the Oilers are not Canada's team. Can we talk about this?
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on? And welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, and also a Canucks writer since 2013, currently with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive to this episode, poo-pooing all over the Coilers and barfing all over Frank Seravalli, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks, because guess what? It is your Canucks every damn day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you go like, subscribe, follow us for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, going to let you know today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Go download that Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Man, oh man, I'm sure you couldn't pay me $20 to go cheer for the Edmonton Oilers. You couldn't pay me $20 to go read stuff over at dailyfaceoff.com. But here we are again, Locked On Canucks, getting paid $20 to do this, Kyle. Unbelievable stuff. Let's go. I would do this for free for the people, but thankfully we can at least make a few cents here on Locked On Canucks. But let's get into it on today's episode. I think there's two main things we want to touch on. Hopefully get to some comments as well, because again, we're nothing here without the people. Shout out to you guys joining us live on YouTube. Shout out to you listening from wherever, whenever you're listening. It don't matter. But the two things we want to touch on: Oilers versus Stars. Okay, why the Oilers are not Canada's team, and why I am firmly on the Dallas Stars bandwagon right now. Okay. And then, despite what commentator Ryan Hernandez says, we're going to talk a bit about Frank Seravalli, how this guy became to be, one of the biggest scumbags in Vancouver.
Whoa!
But let's get into it, Kyle. Before we get into it, let me introduce my co-host. I missed you yesterday, buddy. Kyle Bowen. What's going on, brother? How's your chocolate Bacardi hangover? How you feeling?
A chocolate Bacardi hangover was something else. Back in the day when I was a young chap, I saw one of my friends who's a big Canucks fan do something really, really unpredictable, really, really unbelievable, really, really gross. And that's take shots of a cocktail made out of Bacardi and chocolate milk. And since then, it's become a thing, man. You should try it out with a little bit of lime. Okay. Okay. Anyways.
That's nastier than a Frank Seravalli tweet.
We got to do this. Okay. We got to do this. We got to defend our city, defend our pride. We got to do it. Well, we can't let it, dude. Where's this guy from? Philadelphia, Connecticut, Arkansas? You know what I'm saying? We can't let this guy poo-poo all over the city of Vancouver and poo-poo even more on one of our superstars. Now I know, Elias Pettersson. Not a lot of points in a lot of playoff games. The math was there. We know where the criticization, is that a word, stems from. But man, oh man, it's the off season. Let's protect our own. Let's gear up for next season, and let's have Pettersson's back. And not allow this guy from Wyoming, Connecticut, Alaska talk about our guy, Elias Pettersson. Okay, for real. Anyways, more on that in a couple of minutes. Let's start here though. Okay, let's start in Vancouver again, and not Canada. Speaking of which, how is it even possible for a lot of people to believe that the Oilers are your team now, if last week your team was the Vancouver Canucks, and your team has been the Vancouver Canucks for years and years and years and years and years, because you're a Canucks fan. You love the Canucks. But, they got eliminated by the Oilers? Oh, they're not in the playoffs anymore? Oh, I'm from Canada? Go Oilers, go. What? Are you? No. Nah. And how could we be spoon-fed that message from the people at Hockey Night in Canada, man, and Boston Pizza? What is going on? What is going on?
I'm not sure what's more disgraceful, Frank Seravalli running his mouth or Boston Pizza not only trying to convince Canada that they should, band together and cheer for the first Stanley Cup in 31 years, but that they pay these four bozos to go sit in the stands, pretending they're dark guy, pretending they're the green men, pretending, I don't know, whatever
Oh
Jets
my.
fan is there. I mean, what an absolute travesty. What an absolute joke. I wanted to barf thinking of all the times I've been at Boston Pizza in my life. I used to go to Boston Pizza as a kid with my grandparents on pasta Tuesdays, make your own pasta. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Boston Pizza just ruined my childhood, man. I don't think I've ever been more
Whoa!
grumpy in my life.
Dude,
Boston Pizza
come
ruined my
on,
childhood.
man.
Unbelievable.
Bro, you know how come on now. What's going on? Okay, you know what? Before I get super mad and emotional and be this fan who is like missing hockey and whatnot, and before I go all there, can we just talk about the other side? Like, what's the logic here? It's because like you're from Canada and like you want Canada to win a cup. Like, dude, I feel as if you cannot have it both ways. You cannot be a diehard Canucks fan and then switch sides for any Canadian team, let alone the Edmonton Oilers, to get all your love and affection in the playoffs. It's alarming, man. Because at the end of the day, if it is about Canada getting the cup, like remember, I mean, I know it's not the occurrence here, but there are a lot of Canadian players winning Stanley Cups every summer. You know what I'm saying? And they're traveling around with that cup. It's a good old time. Hockey is always special in Canada. I don't know if we need the Stanley Cup being, you get what I'm trying to go on before I go on a ramble. Like I feel as if it's too extra and it's ultimately unloyal. Like I do not want to be friends with people who do that because I don't trust your I don't trust your loyalty.
Look, to be honest, this whole not cheering for Canadian team thing to win the cup is for real fans. A casual fan thing is definitely
Mhm.
to cheer for Canadian team to win a cup. And Kyle, I told you what we called before this meeting. I don't know if you listen to your voicemails. No one really listens to voicemails anymore.
No
But me and
way.
my buddy, drunkenly called you on Saturday night because my buddy, who doesn't really watch hockey, couldn't understand. He couldn't grasp the fact that I am not cheering for Edmonton to win Stanley Cup. I'm like, they're probably the last team I want to see win the Stanley Cup
Ugh.
of the 4 teams remaining. And again, for casual fans, I get it. It's like you look at the Raptors and we the North and let's bring it home to Canada. I mean, like, it's easy to get into this mindset of like, national pride. But, for the point of view of a Canucks fan, why would you cheer for your rival to go win a Stanley Cup? The team that just
Oh,
knocked you out of the playoffs. It makes zero sense.
bro,
If
do
you
they
are a
not
fan of
know?
the Vancouver Canucks,
Do they not know if Edmonton wins the Stanley Cup, there's a better chance of them keeping McDavid and Draisaitl for longer? Thus, this is not me being insecure. It's just me trying to plot, different ways to the cup, right? You got to get lucky sometimes to get there. One of the ways for them to, I don't know, have more shots at the can is again the Oilers crumbling, right? I'm not crazy to say that. Like Draisaitl's contract's done in 14 months or whatever the math is, right? Connor McDavid's in 25 months, 26 months, whatever the math is. You get what I'm saying? If the Oilers win the cup, those two players are like, you know what? We can do it in Edmonton. Let's re up. Those two are some of the best players in NHL history. You get what I'm saying, bro? They're still in the prime of their careers. I'm pretty sure they're going to be in the prime of their
yeah.
careers for the next 6 or 7 years. You want that organization to crumble. Now, again, where's this coming from? Some jealousy, some hate. Okay, we got slapped in the face by the Oilers. Me and Beggsy especially, okay? What did we drop 8 months ago, 9 months ago? One of our most viewed episodes. Okay? The Vancouver Canucks just ended the Oilers season, okay? That's after we beat them for the 3rd time in 2 games to start the season. Yes, I said that right. A lot of emotion here, but I think again, realistically speaking, again, this is not the insecurity for me. I'm just looking at multiple routes to the cup. And again, one of those routes is the elimination of one team being a legitimate contender. And a lot is riding on the Oilers to be successful this season. And if they get bowed out in 5 games in the Western Conference Finals, right? That's not a good look. That's not a good look. And that increases the chances of, again, catastrophe to happen in that city by like 5%. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I get what you're saying. I do feel like it's, a bit of a pipe dream, to be honest. The fact that the Oilers are just going to crumble and McDavid and Draisaitl are going to
Mhm,
leave, it's a bit of a pipe dream. But
mhm.
at the end of the day, I'll say this: sports is more fun when you hate a few teams. Okay, if you just cheer for everyone and every Canadian team can win the cup and laddie freaking da, then what the hell's the fun in that, man? You got to hate a few teams, and if you don't hate your rivals, like what are you even doing? What are you doing? Okay. Come on. I hope that, casual fans out there, maybe start listening to Locked On Canucks a bit more, your
Mhm,
Canucks every day,
mhm.
and they start letting that hate flow through their blood.
Well, Begs, do it. Teach these people, like, you know what? It's cool being a casual fan. It's awesome being a casual fan. Congratulations. There's something recreational you can do once in a while. But how does somebody make that transition from the casual fan to the actual fan? Okay, I'm not saying the diehard fan, but just one step closer to being a diehard is like that actual fan. And again, when you become that, you let go of everything else. Hockey, okay? You kind of do. Only one team matters. Only that group of players matters. Only their success matters. Blah blah blah. And if you're able to make that step, you raise up the loyalty in your life, which means you become a better mother, a father, a sister, a brother, a friend. Okay, for real. Try it out. How did they get there, Trevor? What would you practice? Is it as simple as, again, not cheering for the team that just eliminated you in the playoffs?
Yes, it is that simple. But I think a big part of it too is actually, and this isn't a great answer, but watching the games, putting the phone down. People will get together with friends and family and maybe watch a game as a casual fan. And, I think they want to join the bandwagon. They want to join the party. They want to cheer when everyone else is cheering. They want to be sad when everyone else is sad. They want to be angry when everyone else is angry. Okay. So to go from casual fan to hardcore fan, I think you just got to buddy up with one of the hardcore fans in your life. The fans of Locked On Canucks.
Okay, and just
flow
drop
through
the
your
phone.
blood.
Drop the
Yeah.
phone. Watch the little
Yeah.
things. Watch the battles. Again, I'm getting emotional. Okay, I really am. This is tough. Look at the comments. Okay, look at this. James, Vancouver knows all about bandwagoners. Wow, dude. Can't be doing that to my city. What's your name? James S. What does the S stand for? Rhymes with
Seravalli, probably.
What? Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, let's move on to the series, though. Okay, let's talk about the Oilers and Stars for one more minute. We just talked
Yeah.
about what happens if the Oilers lose. Okay, what happens if the Dallas Stars win this round and they win the Stanley Cup? You know what happens? Chris Tanev is like, you know what? I don't need money. I got a cup. I just want to win. Okay, I like the taste of this. You know what? I want to win in Canada. Specifically, I want to win in Vancouver. Let me make a little bit less because I got this off, off my chest. My heart is fulfilled. I made a deep run. Even if they lose, just the fact that it's a deep run and he gets to experience the Stanley Cup Finals again. If that happens, I think, this sounds crazy, but I think he would be willing to take a bit of a discount to join another contender if that contender is Vancouver.
Yeah, I like to believe it's possible, right? And Chris Tanev, again, 34 years old right now. Like, he's probably going to sign somewhat of a short-term deal, which makes him attractive. According to AFP Analytics, his estimated contract for next season is around. They have him at a shade under $4.5 million, but based on the playoffs he is having, I think that number is five, pushing probably 5.5 on the open market, maybe even 6. Right? He's still one of the best defensive defensemen in the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
But again, there's not a more deserving guy than Chris Tanev for the Stanley Cup. The guy's got no teeth left in his mouth from playing hockey, an absolute warrior out there. Again, the guy was never a highly touted prospect. He was just a late bloomer, a pretty lean defenseman, and he's, again, blossomed into one of the best defensive defensemen in this generation of hockey. So, obviously Chris Tanev is beloved in this market. It'd be great for him to win a Stanley Cup. And, if you're trying to go from a casual fan to being a more of a hardcore fan, here's your cheering guide for the rest of the playoffs. And we'll maybe end the segment on this. I think the Dallas Stars are pretty much the only team you can cheer for. If the Dallas Stars lose this round, like, I'll watch hockey because I like watching good hockey, but I don't really care who wins. Because the New York Rangers, Kyle, you and I weren't around for that whole rivalry, that whole brouhaha. But yet, if you're a loyal Canucks fan, you can't cheer for the Rangers. The Florida Panthers have 22 fans. You can't cheer for them.
Whoa. I don't know if you
the
can say that
Edmonton
anymore.
Oilers, not cheer for them.
I don't know if you could say that about the Florida Panthers
They have
anymore.
2,200 fans. Sorry, my bad. 2,200 fans. 2,200.
No, I get
My
what you're
bad.
saying.
Sorry about
To an extent where it's like, I even said this, right? Like, it will bug me if Florida wins a cup before the Vancouver Canucks. Like, I know they've made strides over the last 2 years and they've kind of like built the culture over the last 5, but something's building there. If you have multiple playoff runs like this in a row, because that's what they're kind of doing, like, something's got to give. That being said, again, jealousy, envy, hate, confusion will enter my body. With the fact being that the Florida Panthers, the city of Florida, got the Stanley Cup before us. Again, I'm loyal to the city, man. I'm loyal to the city of Vancouver. I want us to win. And I always say this, man, like, okay, I get it. We got to look after the world. We're all in this world together, right? We got to share each other's victories. We got to promote peace. We got to promote everyone, being able to fulfill their dreams. But man, oh man, Before I look after the world and their best interests, let me just look after our neighbors. I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. That West Coast bias is real, man.
Kyle, you're a guy that's full of love. And speaking of being full of love, I'm full of love for these guys. It's our friends over at Game Time. All right, the NBA Finals, man. This could be a first in NBA history tonight. You know, speaking of Dallas, things are good in that city right now. If the Dallas Mavericks sweep oh my God, who are they playing? The Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. It could be the first time in a conference finals that both winners sweep the opposition heading into the finals. So if you are going to the NBA Finals, guess what? You want to spend some money on flights, getting the tickets? Game Time makes getting to the NBA Finals, getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and that lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets, okay? Whether you want to go to Boston, whether you want to go to Dallas, don't matter. Game Time, they're going to offer you the same deal no matter what, okay? So with Game Time, again, I talked about it, the flash deals, the zone deals, the seat views, okay? Kyle, which city would you rather go watch an NBA Finals? If it is Dallas and Boston, which city would you rather fly to go check out the game?
Dallas, man. Come on, my loyalty, dude. Come on. You think I'm going to pay tax dollars to the restaurants and bars and hotel services in Boston? Come on, man. Okay, whoever's watching this, you're getting a effing class on loyalty, okay? Loyalty's lost in this world, man.
Amen to that. So when you're flying to Dallas to get your NBA tickets as a Canucks fan, hey, take the guesswork out of buying NBA Finals tickets with Game Time. Download that Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
People, we doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks, or, life as a Canucks fan, more specifically, right? It is the off season. Kyle Bound, Trevor Baggs, again, doing our thing. One love to the Don't Does Art Lab, and one love to the podcast network that is the Locked On Podcast Network, giving us that culture, right? To do this, and that's give you your Canucks every day. But again, are we really doing that today? Because we're talking about life as a Canucks fan. And look at this comment from GV, okay? Let's get down to talking about some real points here, okay? Maybe this guy wants to talk about Martin Necas, and maybe he wants us to, talk about how Zadorov might have rejected a 5-year deal worth $4.75 a year and all that jazz, and what's going to happen with Filip Hronek and blah, blah, blah. Dude, we got all month to do that, okay? Because what happened? What happened 8 days ago? We got eliminated. And there's still a lot of time from now till the offseason, in my opinion, okay? For real. But plenty of days. We're here every day. And we'll get into all that very soon. But man, oh man, how do I not start here? How do I not say anything about a dude who called Vancouver a city that may have a lot of douches, a lot of douchebags? Am I allowed to say that? It's kind of weird for him to say that when he probably had a great time here a couple days ago, right? But, maybe he just traffic, right? But I don't know. Maybe he's doing it for the clicks. Who knows? Or maybe he really feels it. Probably does. Seems like an honest guy, which again, has me here with Trevor Baggs saying that that's not good enough. That's not good enough. You can't be doing that to my people for whatever reason, because we're not that, okay? We're not that for the most part. A lot of Canucks fans out here, not in that class, for real. Most of us, the majority of us, whether it be the higher class or that douchebag class, a lot of us work hard. A lot of us probably have blue jeans too. Like a lot of us, for real. And we're also the most loyal fans in the world of sport, if you really think about it, because this team has made it past the second round 3 times in 50 plus years. And where are we? We're still here doing our thing every day and spending our money to be Canucks fans, spending our time, which is worth way more than money, being Canucks fans. Again, for him to say that, I hope that every single voice for this fan base did say something, regardless if you're working for the Nation Network or not, because you cannot let him do that a couple days after we proved to the NHL that we're one of the best fan bases in the league. I've watched more hockey this time than ever. And of course, I got the West Coast bias in my ears. But I'm pretty sure we had the best crowd in the playoffs so far. And I get, you know what? By looking at the crowd, I know a lot of those people spent a ton of savings to go to those games, right? It wasn't just suits and ties in the lower bowl or in that arena. That wasn't the case. And that's why it was so effing loud. The truth. That's truth. Frank, man, you just can't get away with that. Regardless of why you did that, you just cannot get away with that. Well, we're not going to let you get away with that. Because again, we got to look after our neighbors before we look after the world.
Yeah, Kyle, you made a point about how, is this how Frank honestly feels, or is he just chasing headlines? Like, I think he's just chasing headlines, right? This guy's selling out for headlines. That's why, I feel like calling him Frank the. You know what I said. Again, this guy going back to 2021, and I found this fascinating. I kind of forgot about it until, we did a little prep for this episode. This is the reporter that, prior to the expansion draft of the Seattle Kraken in 2021, leaked the picks. He leaked the picks of the expansion draft. He was the only reporter to do so before the draft actually took place. And a lot of fans, a lot of Kraken fans talked about how that took away from their experience. And it's like, dude, why are you doing this for attention? Like, you attention seeking.
Whoa.
Unbelievable, man. Like, so I refuse to believe that this guy is honestly how he feels. I feel like this guy is just doing it for the headlines. And why? Why does a guy in Frank Seravalli's pitch? Look, he's one of the most popular. I'm not going to say most well respected. He's one of the most popular insiders in the game right now. Why do you need to go out there and make these BS callous headlines about Canucks fans that you don't know, that you think you know, because you spent 2 weeks in the city, probably sitting in your hotel room for 12 hours, fapping off to the Edmonton Oilers. Whereas, again, like you said, Kyle, the Canucks fans, I think, were some of the best fans in the playoffs so far, chanting Connor Garland's name, chanting JT Miller's name, they deserve better than what Frank Seravalli
chanting
categorized.
Pettersson's name when he had 4 points in like 11 games.
Yeah, exactly.
Like just give it, like they were doing that louder than they were singing "Oh Canada." Again, we're Canucks fans, not Canadian fans. Okay, you want to continue on your spiel? Sorry, I cut you off there. I love this city, man.
I know you do, buddy. No, I'll just talk about quickly on his Pettersson take too. I found that kind of strange, like him calling it Pettersson. And we had the conversation, Kyle. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
We had the conversation too about like, is it kind of weird that Pettersson was the only guy who said he was injured while the rest of the team didn't really announce injuries. But I think Seravalli, again, he just like took it a step too far on Elias Pettersson. Yeah, so I don't know. That one doesn't bug me as much as the Canuck fan one, to be honest with you. But again, he's taking shots at Pettersson when I don't think he really knows his market. That's my biggest gripe with it. And it's at the end of the day, when you look at Pettersson saying that he was injured, the rest of the team didn't. In a nutshell, we said that was a little strange. But you look around the league, that does happen quite a bit. Whereas some guys will come out and say it. Seth Jarvis did in Carolina after the second round. So guys will come out and say it's certainly not.
Bro, we've watched sports our whole life, man. Like 80% of the time, there's players disclosing their injuries at the end of the season. It's totally fine. This one just looked or just felt or just kind of sounded unique because it was literally unique compared to what the rest of the team was doing. But man, oh man, you know who had one of the most unique seasons in like recent NHL history? Considering, some of the things that he chose to do, right? Pettersson, and that's, talk a lot with Elliot Friedman straight up. But this guy had a really interesting season, and this guy has a unique set of expectations and pressure, and again, all rightfully so. But at the end of the day, prior to this year, right? And maybe there was a little blimp in the season right before Boudreau got here. But prior to this year, I feel as if Pettersson alone was the first one to show signs that Vancouver could be really, really cool again because of how excellent and how historic his rookie season felt and at times were. Again, he made Canucks fans believe in hope and the bigger picture and life with an elite number one center back in the fold. You get what I'm saying? He was that guy. And at the same time of him doing all those things on the stat sheet, I will go down saying this. My eye test has proven to me many times that this dude is willing to put his body on the line. And we saw that again in Game 7. 6 points in 13 games in the playoffs, that's horrible. That's not good enough. I'd give him an F. I would. But the fact that this guy was willing to throw his body on the line, doing his thing, in Game 7 showed me a lot about his passion for being a Canuck. And again, it's been a questionable, confusing last 12 or 13 months, but it's only been 13 months compared to the rest. And I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm a Canucks fan first. I'm going to believe in this guy. I'm going to believe in Pettersson reaching his full potential. Why? Because I want to see what our team looks like when that happens consistently. I'm going to put hope in the guy. And Seravalli, I feel like he's, he's putting 2 and 2 and 5 and 6 and 7 and -4 together and making up this, which again kind of makes sense. But I'm going to have my guys back for now. I'm going to believe that he'll bounce back. And for this guy to paint this narrative that he's disconnected with the rest of the team and how Tocchet and company may be confused about that, it's like, dude, you know what? Let Rick Dollywall say that. You get what I'm saying? For real. No, like someone close, because this is just, and then he followed it up with the whole douchebag wealthy comment. It's like, dude, come on, man. Get out of here for a bit.
Yeah, like I said, 1-800-excuses is what Frank Seravalli said about Pettersson, and it's a 1-800 chasing the big catchy headline without any sense to it. Frank Seravalli, I hope you go back to a hotel bathroom. Probably threw out your knee and got tendonitis fapping over the Edmonton Oilers, you sick mother. Anyways, let's end off the show with a few comments from our listeners, the real good people of the world here on Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. F Frank Seravalli, F the Oilers. And we'll be back on the other side here on Locked On Canucks.
People. Can you hear me? Am I connected here? Oh, there you go. People. I'm back. Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs doing our thing here on Locked On Canucks, a show where we just have that West Coast bias. And yeah, I'm going to support this team, this group of core players. They brought us here. Was it perfect? Was it something that took us to complete manifestation? Not yet. But again, they exceeded expectations. They brought me closer to my inner child, and just being a Canucks fan again, and Trevor Beggs and the people, I'm blessed with that. And I'm going to put a lot of hope in that core players and that organization to get things right. And I know he doesn't have like a no movement clause until like next year or something, but I'm pretty sure Pettersson's going to be around for a very long time. We got to have his back. IMO.
I also believe in the guy, to be honest with you. Like I said, we talked about it before. Every Dayers know it was his first playoff run. It was nowhere near good enough, but I think he took some lessons away from that, and he was trying up until the end. Look, Pettersson knows he can be way better, and I believe he will be way better. And that's why I think, and we said it back in August, the show that's pinned on our YouTube page, the Canucks will win a Stanley Cup with this core. I don't know if it's next year or the year after that, but I believe the Canucks are probably in a 3-year window right now, and I do truly believe they can win a Stanley Cup with this core.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, let's go to these comments and talk more about hockey, okay? Jay Canuck, a.k.a. Harpoon, a.k.a. Il Mariachi. This guy has like 4 accounts. You guys had Pettersson's back when you said he deserves as much money as he wants. How did that work out? Yeah, we said give Pettersson a blank check, blah, 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 sign him for a long term. The goal is to sign him for 8 years. And I'm more than hopeful that he's going to live up to that. Again, 6 points in 13 playoff games, that sucked. First time in the real big dance, all that stuff. You can, make quote unquote some excuses, but I'm going to lean into the little things and just move forward. And the fact that he did disclose an injury makes a lot of sense. And the fact that, again, he, in my opinion, did not play soft hockey, even close to soft hockey in Game 7. Not perfect hockey, but the fact he was throwing his body around heavily showed me a lot of heart, showed me a lot of connection, okay? That's the type of guy I want on this team. Real talk.
Yeah, and you know what? I talked about it yesterday as well, right? With Pettersson, you do. That's why it's such a priority for the Canucks to go get a top 6 winger. And let's bring up this comment from G. Ellis, where he says the Canucks got to let Lindholm go and sign Martin Necas. Now, Kyle, you weren't on the episode with me yesterday. I'll make a quick comment, and I want your take on the whole Necas situation. Lindholm and Necas are very, very, very different players, right? If you're re-signing Lindholm, you're going for that big, solid 1-2-3 punch down the middle of Miller, Lindholm and Pettersson, right? Or maybe you put Lindholm on Pettersson's line. I guess that's an option too, but you're probably want all 3 of those guys at center. Now with Martin Necas, I mentioned on yesterday's show, the guy has defensive warts, which is a bit troubling considering the fact that he plays in one of the best defensive systems in the NHL. Now he's talented. He's incredibly quick, which the Canucks need to get quicker. He's got offensive skills, but is he going to be worth the big bucks? I'm a little scared of a deal like that, to be honest with you, and what he might command as an RFA. Now, Kyle, I feel like that's bad journalism. I kind of just backed you into a corner with my take, but what's your whole take on the Martin Necas situation there?
Well, again, I'm an honest person. I just don't talk to, see what would attract more viewership or get the people going. Like, I haven't watched more than 3 Nate games. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? But I watched a ton of Lindholm. I think my answer to this is I trust Alvin and Rutherford and company and Talkit with their hit list for this offseason. But as far as like overall goes and star power goes or top end talent goes, to me, if we're talking about Lindholm or Necas and their dynamic and like how the lineup could look with one or the other, because they're kind of different, kind of a lot different. At the end of the day, for me, it's kind of like one or the other. And don't lose that on both.
It is one or the other. And I'll bring this up quick. The rumors are that Lindholm is kind of chasing a 7-8 year deal, right? $50 million, probably something in that $7-ish million a year range. I brought up the contract projections from AFP Analytics. Martin Necas is projected to get over $7 million on a long-term deal and closer to $6 million on a short-term deal. Now, Kyle, I'll put it to you this way. Like, would you rather have Lindholm at 7 years, $7 million per season, a good $49 million total contract, or would you rather have Necas at, like, let's say, 3 years, $6 million per season?
The second one.
Yeah.
The second
cheaper
one.
player, shorter term deal. It's
But
less risk involved.
I think Alvin was on record saying that he felt as if the Canucks got out of the first round because of Lindholm. I believe that. He was pretty, like, impactful. Just made the Canucks a harder team to beat. And, I wonder what Lindholm would look like with actual chemistry, an actual offseason, an actual preseason with some of the talent on this roster or whatever roster, right? I think there's still a player there. I really do. Man, oh man, the Canucks, man. 8 days ago. How you feeling, bro? 8 days ago, we had a chance. We had a chance, man.
It's all right. The Canucks are winning a cup with the score. That's the energy I'm going with, buddy. I firmly believe it. Pettersson and Hughes are going to come back strong in the playoffs next time. But Kyle, before we wrap up the show, as GV said in the comments, let's get down to real talking points here. How was the hangover from the wedding, buddy?
Oh, yeah, I didn't really answer that question off the top. You know what? Again, there's a big reason why I don't drink a lot. Like, I'll have a couple beers here and there, but I usually limit myself to like 2 or 3 ounces of liquor, right? Because when I do get drunk and do have hangovers, something happens to me, man. It's like, it doesn't matter like how much I drink. If there is a hangover, it's going to take me 37 hours to get over it. But that's okay, man, because I watched a lot of Netflix and it was nice, man. It was nice watching some Netflix, dude. It was nice watching some Netflix. I also watched this like documentary on the 2003-2004 Colorado Avalanche, which was really, really interesting. Rick Tocchet was an assistant coach there, right? This guy's been in the game for a long time in the coaching side of things, man. And now we want a coach of the year, man. Oh, man. Oh, what player do you think you would much rather have, Lindholm or Necas? Like, think about it, because I'm thinking Lindholm, man. Lindholm played some big hockey.
I'd rather have Lindholm, but I agree with you. Like, if it's like 7x7 for Lindholm or 3x6 for Necas. But then again, what are you giving up to get Martin Necas? Like, that plays into the equation as well. But I do think with Lindholm, I guess I'm scared by how mediocre he was in the regular season. But man, oh man, was this guy good in the playoffs? That being said, he's 29 years old. He's going to be a middle six center on this team, and you're going to pay him $7 million over 7 years. That really scares me as well. So I think the Canucks got to be smart with how they allocate their cap dollars. What are you giving up on the defense by signing a guy like Lindholm as well? So, there's a lot of what ifs at play here. As pure players, I prefer Lindholm over Necas. But if Necas is on a shorter term deal at a cheaper cap hit, then I prefer Necas.
Gonna be a fun offseason, man. Like I said earlier, like I got hope and belief and full optimism towards a guy like Elias Pettersson. I also have all those things with even more guarantee with what this management group is going to do with their pro scouting and who they're going to bring in and overall be accountable, because those guys don't want to take a step back. Those guys know that I know it's year one of this and things can happen, but man, oh man, JT Miller is really, really good right now. And we got to be Father Time and get the Stanley Cup. I know they're going to make sure that, again, if they're going to lose Lindholm, they're getting someone else somehow, some way. We're talking about big swingers, right? Big swingers. Hey, Trevor, would you ever be a swinger? No, you know what? Don't even. No, you know what? If you no, we're gonna end the episode like that because
Oh man.
come on, man. You know it, man. If you cheer for the Oilers and Vancouver at the same time, bro, you probably a swinger, man.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah, because like
that could be the
you're
case.
lacking some loyalty, or your loyalty is kind of weird, man. Just a little different.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't trust people. I will never trust a quote unquote diehard. My name's Chad, and I'm a diehard Canucks fan. And as soon as your team gets eliminated by the Oilers, you got a sign outside your restaurant saying "Go Oilers, go!" What a disgrace, man.
A disgrace. And hey, at least one of our everydayers here, Jacob Cozy, is not a disgrace. He said he made a TikTok roasting the Oilers over at Pink Sunglass Guy. Okay, if you want to enjoy
Be
some
loyal
more
to the fans,
funny
man.
stuff. Okay, hey, exactly, loyal to Vancouver. That's what we like. Okay, whether you're an everyday, occasional listener, first time listener, new subscriber, or you join us here on the live YouTube show, we love each and every one of you, especially those of you who are not cheering for the Edmonton Oilers. Okay. Whether you cheer for the Oilers or not, I mean, that'll depend how much Kyle and I actually what we think of you. But at the end of the day, it don't matter because you're just listening to us. And we're going to be here every day, hopefully for eternity here on Locked On Canucks. It is your Canucks every day. But we do got to get out of here, okay? So for now, I'm Trevor Beggs. That sexy mofo was Kyle Ballard.
Hey.
And you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Dude, Trevor really chose the Vancouver Canucks loyalty over potentially ever getting a check from the Nation Network. You are, again, I love you, Trevor Beggs, and the city of Vancouver loves you too.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast